you have people around you that really care about you. I don't want to get emotional. I'm going to get
build
emotional.
A positive space where we can all love each other and also love ourselves.
And let's not put our worth into what people think of us. Let's not put our worth into what, who's ghosting us this week or who's made us feel poorly about ourselves.
The toxic friend.
Don't be that person for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be that toxic friend to yourself.
Exactly.
Hey everyone.
Hi guys.
Welcome back to another episode of 30 Kinda Flirty.
We are Joey and Brittany.
And here to serve.
No. No, but we thank you for tuning in and listening.
I'm pretty excited to be here on this crisp fall day.
Very gray out.
I think
very
rain's
gray,
coming.
Very cold. Mm-hmm. We're into the end of October. It's the end of the fall season almost. And once November hits, it's pretty much just the leaves are pretty much gone and it's Christmas. Like we're dealing with Christmas. But we're not there yet.
We're
still in Halloween mode.
5 more days.
Actually got a recommendation from a listener.
Yes.
Which Brittany's going to dive into.
Yeah, so for all of you local folk, there is some Halloween hauntings happening in Wolfville, Nova Scotia.
Woo!
This week. Well, it's been the whole month of October, but obviously this weekend's left. It's called the Phantoms Freak Show Haunted House. And the times for that vary, but this weekend, Thursday, October 28th, we have 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Friday, October 29th, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday, October 30th, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then Sunday, October 31st, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's the Encore. It was just added. Brand new show.
Ooh.
So that's kind of exciting.
Hot
I think
demand.
It's some of the proceeds in support of the IWK, which is a children's hospital here in Halifax. Admission is only at the door, obviously following all COVID-19 protocols. But it looks like a good time.
So listen, grab Grandma, grab Auntie May, and
grab an extra pair of pants. And get down to the Phantoms Freak Show.
So
great
have
cause.
you ever went to like a Halloween
I did the
maze or
Canada's Wonderland, Halloween haunt,
yes.
that kind of stuff, but not local, no.
Yeah, so I went to the one a couple years ago in Truro, Nova Scotia, the haunted corn maze or whatever they call it. And it's really, really good. Like they will chase you around with like the chainsaws
that's like
and stuff, and
which is so scary.
And you walk through. There's different ones. Like there's one that's like done up with all clowns. One that's all done up with like dolls and stuff, and it's spooky and they're chasing you. And one time we went. I went with my cousin, some family members, my boyfriend at the time. We went through, but I guess my cousin was like ahead of us, and she told one of the actors or whatever my name and my boyfriend's name because they liked that. So they came after us and were saying my name like Joey, rah, rah, rah. But I looked at him, I thought it was my stepbrother. Like it kind of looked like him.
You would be like,
so I literally was like, Patrick, is that you? But it was.
You just like stopped dead in your tracks.
Because it didn't even scare me. He knew my name. I just thought, oh, he must know me. Like, whatever.
Who are you?
But just one other quick little story. I think one of my favorite parts in this corn maze that I've never seen anywhere was that there's one room you walked into and it had this like neon green light that was across the room. So when you're walking through it, when you watch movies and they're walking through a swamp and they can't see beneath them, that's what it felt like. You couldn't see the floor or your legs or anything. It just felt like you were like
a
kind
fog
of
machine.
Walking through, this green fog. And then all of a sudden this like person in this like latex, fucking Kim Kardashian from the Met Gala, like this latex full just kind of like leaped out of the fog. Like, oh my God, it was so scary, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. If you're like local to the Atlantic, Nova Scotia, go to Truro. Every October they do that haunted corn maze. They also have like a daytime one for kids and stuff.
Yes.
But the haunted one is a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I love recommendations from like listeners and stuff, especially just even for my own knowledge, like it's just really cool, especially when it's in support of a charity. So
yeah, no, that's
get on
great.
out.
So we thank the listener for, and
Thank
like if
you.
there's anything local you guys can think of that we might be interested in, or
Yeah, like I would love to go to that. We just didn't have the time
we're
this week.
trying to plan to get out and about and maybe do
We
some
are.
vlogging and stuff. And
That's right, vlogging.
So, yeah, stay tuned anyway.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. So, anything else, Britt?
Nothing. Actually, when you're talking about vlogging, real quick, I do want to say I've got our YouTube channel up and going. Not that I want to do a little plug, but if you are on YouTube,
this
give
is
us
the
a
space
follow.
where we plug. We plug everything.
So all of our episodes are up there. Obviously, it's all audio right now, but when you said vlog, those vlogs will be up on the YouTube.
Is the link to YouTube in our link tree?
No, it isn't, but we'll add it in.
We'll put it in there, and that's on our Instagram, 30 Kind of Flirty Podcast. Give us a follow. If you're listening, share us to your story and tag us. We love all that stuff.
It's all happening.
So
it's all coming up this podcast.
So back to Halloween real quick.
Yes.
Do you have any like cool costumes you've done in the past, or...
No, I mean, obviously in high school, you're like going for the skanky
Slutty.
insert police, whatever. I would say police, nurse, you know.
Halloween is the one night a year where girls can...
But then we shifted. There was like
did
this.
we?
Did. There was like a trend in 2005, 6. No, 2015, 16. I'm thinking like 5, 6. I was 15. I was being a slut. No, but we shifted with like the Lauren Conrad kind of era where like you're trying to do cutesy, scary. So I mean, a couple of times I tried to mimic Lauren Conrad's outfits or Halloween costumes.
Oh,
so
yes, okay. I thought you meant like just her basic outfits.
She was like a cutesy ghost one year. She was like a dead doll.
Oh,
so no, I don't have any notable. You know, some people are so creative. Like I don't have anything like that.
One year, like I don't dress up a lot for Halloween, but one of my exes, he and I did some really good costumes. Our first year together, we did Bert and Ernie.
Oh, that's a good one.
And we literally bought like just plain white sweatshirts and had markers and colored the stripes to match what they wore.
Smart and probably fairly cheap.
And of course, the face paint. So I was Bert. Yeah, I was the cranky one because
I mean,
and then he was Ernie, and they looked really good. Like everybody went downtown and stuff. People were like, "Oh my god! Like your costumes are so good."
That is so
like,
cool.
They were really, really good. If you maybe I can post it or something.
Yeah, that'd be a great like little throwback.
And we also did one year Blue's Clues where I was Blue. So I was like blue and had the ears and everything, and then he was Steve and had the actual like outfit, and his hair was the same color as Steve. So we did a couple good ones.
Some people get so creative. Halloween Baking Championships on Food Network.
Yep.
They have some like crazy good costumes. And always give me good ideas, but I mean, really, like the amount of effort. I mean, obviously they're like high level costume
it's
designers,
a lot of effort, and also too like to go out on Halloween. It's always just so busy. You're always stuck kind of waiting in lines, and like I said, we're in Atlantic, Canada. It's always so cold. It gets really cold and rainy this time of year, and it's it's a lot of effort too.
That's why house parties are where
I
it's
love
at.
Halloween house parties.
You know, that's where it's at. So that's the Halloween.
Yeah. So we hope you all have a happy and safe Halloween. Get your treat on.
If you are a homeowner or if you're handing out candy, not even just a homeowner, I do want to do a little like reminder. Keep it accessible for folks with disabilities. I, honest to goodness, have never, ever, ever thought of that. Ever. But I was scrolling through the gram today and a couple things that come up, trying to find different alternatives for kids that can't do stairs or people who can't do. Never dawned on me.
Well,
never thought of it.
Because of COVID, a lot of people were making those tubes from the top of their doorstep.
Right, social distance.
To just throw the candy bar or whatever down the tube. That works for accessibility for anything.
I would have never, ever thought of it. Yep. So just a little note, keep that in mind. Instead of handing it at my front door, I might do it in the garage. And then that way
where someone
everybody
can easily get to.
Would totally. So that's my only little tip.
There you go.
But yeah, have a fun and happy one. Save some candy for you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anything else this week, Britt? Any updates?
I'm trying to think of any other updates. No, nothing really going on.
All right, well, I got a few things.
Okay. I'll let Joey take the mic.
So, as I'm sure all of you have been watching The Voice because Ariana Grande is on it, as I have, and we're tuning in each week and being very excited to see her each week. But she tweeted something. I guess she's going to make some kind of announcement on November 1st. And she said, you don't want to miss it. She said, it's very exciting.
Oh, yeah, remember you
but
saying.
you have to like log on to like through the Voice app or something. I don't really know what that's about. But of course, rumors are speculating.
I was
like,
gonna say, what are the people saying?
Could it be a new era? Is she starting her AG7 era, her new album? Which there's a lot of rumors right now about the album. Some say it's completely finished. Some say she's already recorded some videos for the lead single. Some say it's not coming. Nothing's coming until next year. Some saying that some of it's going to be coming this next month. Who knows? She's also doing a beauty line that's coming out. So maybe it's an announcement to do with that. But then again, why go through The Voice? Like, is this something voice related? I don't know. But we'll stay tuned and just see how that unfolds.
So when is she? Is it like a live stream? Like, how is she
I have
doing
no
it?
idea.
You don't know yet.
I tried to go through this Voice app, but it said not in my region. So I don't even know if it's something that's American only. I have no idea.
Like a meet and greet. Watch it be like something only in the States.
But I'm excited but I can't get my hopes up too much because
she's just retiring from music.
I mean, she's pregnant. Fuck off. Oh, would be one of my worst nightmares. I just don't want her to be pregnant.
I guess we'll see.
No. Oh my God, she's fucking pregnant. That's probably what it is.
Why would she do it on The Voice though?
Yeah, she wouldn't make that like a career thing.
No, she'd probably like post a silhouette of like her and baby. Anyways, it's coming. It's coming.
Anyway, that's my week. Lots of rashes and Ariana Grande.
Yeah, and I have nothing. I mean, I did get my candy apple. For those of you,
you sent me a picture of it all cut up.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was like it was a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk about it. I'm disappointed. It's one of those things that like you think, oh man, I would love an apple dipped in candy. Then you get it, and it's just not what you expected. It's just not everything you had hoped it would be. So we're moving on. Okay. Candy apple.
Well, now you know.
Next time, if you're out and about and you're like, oh, I want that thing, think about it first.
Yeah.
Use your head.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. So with that, candy apples, loving yourself. Don't know how they relate. But that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, if you saw our little IGTV clip on
teaser.
Instagram, we asked the question about, how do you love yourself? And that's what we're talking about today.
It's a good time.
So
I think right now with the shift in season, it's going to be really, really difficult to remember to take care of yourself and just to love yourself.
I think just in general, because, the rise of social media has led to an increase in looking to others for validation, looking to others to make us feel good about ourselves, constantly comparing. Brittany spilled water all over herself. Constantly comparing ourselves to others, right? And I think when we do that, we tend to feel bad about ourselves and we forget to offer ourselves love.
Yeah, and I tagged you actually in a really great video. I'm gonna find it so I can quote who posted it, but it was a little ghost.
Yeah.
That when you pick yourself apart, you're spread out over the floor.
It's like you're picking yourself apart to pieces.
Right? And then those pieces all equal you. And that's what makes you you. And I know that sounds really cheesy and I know that sounds really lame, but sometimes we have to remember that all of the pieces, all of your imperfections, everything that makes up you, your smarts, your looks, your inner beauty, your confidence, like that all makes up you. And if you didn't have those imperfections and insecurities, then you wouldn't be you. And it's such a basic primary concept, but we often forget about it because we're so consumed with other people's versions of themselves. And I think it's important to just slow down and remember that like that's not real life. Do you know what I mean?
And another thing too, we always tend to view people who love themselves or take pride in themselves as being selfish or narcissistic. There's always a negative stigma
self-absorbed
with it. But listen, the longest relationship you are going to have with anyone is with yourself.
You're right or die.
So why would you not put yourself first?
Yeah.
Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Tell yourself you're doing great. You're successful. Right? I mean,
And I think too, like just to touch, I mean, obviously this is more about you. We're going to try not to make it about social media because that's a whole other thing. But it's important to remember that on social media and stuff, like I said, it's other people's highlights and things like that. And to compare the two, it's like comparing apples and oranges. That's all I'm going to say. Like social media is a whole different thing in itself. And sometimes it's just important to like unfollow people that don't help you feel good, or follow people. There's a lot of empowering accounts out there that make you feel good. And I think that that's all we really need. There might be more stuff with social media, but this is more about us for once. We're going to focus on what we can do to love ourselves. I always get off
laughing because
track.
what if like everything I've written down is all social media based? Like, I'm just going to put this journal aside.
But you know, I get sidetracked with social media because I put all my, like, Joey, social media doesn't really affect you very often. For me, it does. So I always resort back to social media, but I'm going to really try to focus on just us.
Yeah.
Because we're us without social media.
Yep.
It wasn't always there.
No.
Right? So that's my...
So we have some ideas or ways
tips and tricks
that you can love yourself
if
today.
You know what I mean.
Winky face. So
Bing.
do you want me to...
Go for it. I'm just going to chime in.
So I have a journal that I've had for many years, and it has a quote on it, and it goes like this.
Ooh.
Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. This is important because even though I'm not usually negatively influenced by social media, I do have the issue of always comparing myself to other people, where they're at in their lives.
Friends, family.
Yeah, so anything. So it's very important to just remember that success isn't objective. It is subjective. Success means different things for different people. So just because Joe Blow down the street, you know, has...
good old Blow.
You know, he's a high-powered accountant and has a fancy, swanky apartment downtown.
It means nothing.
A nice ride, and does not mean that he is more successful than you just because you don't have those things.
Yeah.
And I often think of like one thing that I am, I don't want to say insecure about, but one thing that I wish I had or I thought I would have had by now is home ownership. I do not own my own house. I'm still living in an apartment. And a lot of that's because of, you know, being in a long distance relationship for a couple years where I couldn't just,
there's external factors.
Things had happened that kind of prolonged it. But, you know, I'm seeing friends of mine, like one of my best friends just bought a house with her partner. Another one of my friends is planning on buying a house. You have your house here. Like, you know, and it's I'm such a homebody too. And home decor and having a nice home has always been very important to me. Of course. It's always something I envisioned and I always wanted it, but I don't have it yet. And look, I have a nice apartment. I'm in a good location, right?
Well decorated.
There's nothing
cozy.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
But yet I do get into my head of like, well, I'm not successful. I haven't made it yet.
Yeah.
And it's hard because we're from a generation where, you know, owning a home, being married, having kids, having the career, we're all part of that's how you're successful. But we're growing up in an age where it's not always easy to get that stuff.
Yes, exactly.
So even like, you know, my father will sometimes say, oh, it's too bad you don't have a house yet. Or like he doesn't put pressure on it, but he just makes remarks like, oh, it'd be nice if you could
probably
get a
without
house.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, because it would be nice to be paying that to yourself, you know, investing in yourself in a mortgage and building money off of what you're paying into. But right now, I'm just not there yet.
And I think that that's what we have to remember is it's not all that means, you know what I mean? Like there's different things of everybody's lives that's like, same with like if you own a fancy car. Yeah. It's like they're leasing. Right? So a lot of times they're leasing. We saw that on Coronation Street. Remember they were trying to show that they've made lots of money in their MLM. Yes. And they rented a fancy car. Yes. So like you never know, and I think you're exactly right. Is social pressures.
And like, and it's funny when you said about posting your house and people thinking, "Oh wow, she made it," and you're like, "Well, just barely." Yes. Even for me, like I post a lot of pictures, you know, around the apartment and stuff, and everyone comments like, "Oh my god, your place is so cozy. It's so nice." Like it is a really nice apartment. So I just got to remember that success isn't just one thing. So like I have a good career. I have good friends and family. Like I've had some great relationships. I'm single right now, but I'm single for the first time in years. I'm not usually single. So I'm just,
and you're enjoying it.
All these things are trying to embrace. So it's like, if you got that one thing or one or two things that you keep thinking about and downing yourself about, just remember, like, there's so many other things that
I agree. And I think
are great about you.
And I think too, from like the homeowner versus not homeowner, it's like, I look at you, or I look at somebody who's not a homeowner, and I'm like, oh man, they don't have anything tying them down. They can just move, have a change of scenery whenever they want. They can go to a different city whenever they want. They can travel and not have to worry about cutting grass, about something flooding, because that's not really their problem. I mean, it's their problem, but it's not their problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have so much more freedom.
Yeah.
You're not tied down to real estate. So I think it's both ways, and it's so interesting because you're right. People don't talk about it enough.
Yeah. So,
and that can be hard.
And remember that when you're scrolling on someone's Instagram, you're looking at their stories, you're looking at their feed. It's all highlights.
It is.
Right? We always post
You're never going to
the
post
good
a shitty
versions of
situation.
ourselves.
No.
And just remember, you got to remember that.
You got to love yourself.
Yeah.
So there's that. It's a good point.
Yeah. What about saying no? Setting boundaries and saying no. So I always think of an episode of Friends. This is early on. I think it's like the first season, maybe even the first like episode or two. And Ross is asking the friends to help him put some stuff in his new apartment together. And, you know, I think Monica or someone says, oh, no, sorry, I can't help you. I'm doing blah, 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 blah. And then Phoebe turns around and says, oh, I wish I could help you, but I don't want to. Or something like that. Right? I wish I could help you, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
And it's like, like there's just those moments when you can say no. I think, now, this isn't like, you know, don't be selfish, and it's not like, oh, it's my way or the highway. No, there's times when you have to compromise with people and you know,
take one for the
accommodate
team
and stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't let yourself become a doormat to people, because what that does is it devalues yourself. It makes people realize that they can use you, they can treat you however they want to, and you're just going to accept that behavior. And when I was younger, I was always a very shy and timid person, like growing up, and I would never say no. You know, I would always be like, yeah, we can do that. Even if I didn't want to, like, I'll do this, I'll do that. Yeah, no problem. It wasn't until like I came out and people gave me a lot of pushback, trying to tell me, trying to tell me who I am, what's wrong with me. When I realized, no, nothing's wrong with me. This is who I am. This is how I'm living. This is my life. I don't have to cater to anyone else.
No,
and
you have the answer to yourself.
Ever since I've gone through that, I'm not a people pleaser. I'm like the opposite of a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I don't give a rat's ass.
We're very different in
what
that
people
sense.
think, or you know, like, yes, I'm a nice person and I'm nice to anyone, but I do not let people walk all over me.
No.
Like, I have value in myself. So I think that's really important. Like, and like, there's nothing wrong. Like, we live in a world where we're always busy. Work gets busy and extracurricular activities get busy. And there's just a lot of stuff on our plates all the time. And there's nothing wrong, you know, when someone is messaging you and asking you to do something. And maybe you're not busy in the sense of like you have things to do, but maybe you're looking forward to having a night in, just yourself, to catch your breath, watch your favorite TV shows, catch up on something. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know, sorry, I'm busy.
Yeah.
And if they say, well, what are you doing? Like, look, I'm just having a night to myself.
Yeah. No is an answer.
Yep.
Right.
Or, you know, and I hate this with Messenger. Like, when someone messages you and you look at it, they can see that you've looked at it. But it's like, just because you've looked at a message doesn't mean you have to respond. You have to reply.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't sometimes. It's like, yeah, I've seen your message and I'll get back to you when I have the mental capacity
unless it's me
to get back to you, right?
I just send gifts and I'm like, I know you're there, and then I'll call.
But you can't stand not responding to someone when they message you.
Yeah, I'm the opposite side. So it's important for me to I have a hard time. I was going to say I have a hard time saying no, which is obvious, but I have a hard time if somebody messages me or somebody texts me. Let's even say like playing head games, right? Like, you know, the whole like, do you wait to text them back type thing. I think that that's mean. So it's important for me to acknowledge them, because I think that that's the nice thing to do, but I know I don't have to. I just find it very hard. it like eats away at me because I feel like, you know.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, there's nothing wrong with, like,
I think there's a fine. You got to be careful though, because you're right. You don't
but
want to devalue yourself.
But it can go the other way too, where you don't care about people so much, where you're the one using them all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's like there's a fine balance, but like basically, you know, if you're just not feeling it,
you got to do what's right for you.
You can always say no. You can always set boundaries, because that's putting value in yourself.
Yeah, and it's okay. Like, I've noticed because of the culture shift, even again, I'm bringing social media into it, but like there are some empowering accounts out there that will just say, I'm taking, like what you said, taking time for myself. And that is 100% valid. I don't want to as an answer. No is an answer.
And I mean, there's a huge trend in the last, I'd say 10 years where a huge increase in self-help books.
Yeah.
Even celebrities are always writing self-help tip books or ways to be healthy,
putting your mental health first.
Because I feel like we're in a time where it's very easy to get caught up in the busyness of everyday life, where we just forget to take those moments for ourselves. Yeah. And that is important.
It is.
And it's not selfish.
No.
It's important. So, did you have any other tips or tricks or?
No. Not one. Like I was thinking,
I mean, I have more, so I can just
like I was thinking about this whole love yourself, and it's so easy to sit here for an hour and say like, this is what I do, but I struggle with remembering that I am enough and that I am worthy. And I am, like, again, something as simple as like not getting a message back from somebody you care about. It's like, no, like I deserve that message. I don't deserve this. And it's just cutting that off right there, knowing your worth. That's all part of loving yourself. One thing I did come across the other day when I sent you that little ghost video, which again, I will find it, was secret affirmations. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, but it's something as simple as like on your iPhone or on your phone, changing your the folder names to like, I am social, I am healthy. And so every time you see that, you open up your phone and you're in your like health folder. It's like, I am healthy. I am resourceful.
That's a good one.
I am smart. I am informed. I am educated. And those are those secret affirmations every day that it's like, I gotta, I've got to hop into the social media. It's like, I am social. Yeah. Doesn't have to be a negative thing. And I thought that was kind of a cool tip.
I like that because that kind of transitions into my next one that I had, which is just basically recognizing your strengths. Right? And recognizing the things you're good at. I think it's so much easier to think of what we're bad at, right? Yes. You always remember your bad days. You always remember the shit that happens. And sometimes it's hard to kind of view the goodness out of it or the light in the darkness, if you will. There's a quote that I really, really liked. I've liked this for years. I want to get it tattooed. And I'm going to paraphrase it because I can't remember it specifically. But it's like, without the dark or without the night, we wouldn't see the stars. So sometimes without some of that darkness, we don't see the light.
Another one is no rain, no flowers.
Yeah, similar kind of thing, right? So we put so much emphasis on the negative that it's sometimes easy to forget that there is goodness there. And so I think, like you said, like those little secret affirmations on your phone, positive affirmations, right? So what's wrong with, like, if you're having a bad day or you're stressed for the day, when you wake up, look in the mirror and just say some positive affirmations to yourself. If you have like a really stressful meeting that you're really stressed about, just say, look at yourself in the mirror and say, look, I prepared for this meeting. I've done all the legwork. I've done the work. I'm ready for this.
Pep talk yourself.
Yeah. It's like a little pep talk, or say, you know what, like for me, like I'm a very reliable person. I'm very responsible. I've been told I have a great sense of humor, right? So it's trying to remember all those positive things about yourself. And again, going with those affirmations. What about writing yourself little notes around the house? Some people do that too, where they might, at their door before they leave, they might just write, have a good day, happy face. Yeah. Or, I don't know, in their bedroom before going to sleep, they might write down, good night, you had a great day. Here's to tomorrow. Like something positive that you're always kind of seeing. Yes. To remind yourself that you're on the right path, sweetie. Yeah. You're doing great.
You're doing fine. And we need those reminders. That reminds me of the 5-minute journal.
Yep.
It's a journal you can get chapters and to go online,
Yep.
Amazon. And you start the day with writing your date, and then 3 things you think you're grateful for, thankful for, 3 things you want to do during the day. Has a nice little quote. That's it. And at the end of the day before bed, what you had just said, you write down 3 things that were really great that day. So, and I'm pretty honest in mine, like it's something that's so simple. Like I'd like to drink more water. And then at the end of the day, it's like, did not drink more water.
Yes.
But that's okay because there's wins and there's losses. And a win for me is writing it down.
Yep.
Really.
And I think the good thing, there's something about writing things out too. Like there is a science behind it.
Yes.
Same with if you have goals, they say you should write them down.
Yeah.
It's tangible.
Yes.
But it also allows you, you wrote those positive things down. A few days later, you're having another bad day. Well, you can always go to that journal and reread what you've written. And it kind of gives you a little bit of a boost.
I think it's good to take 5 minutes out of your day and just pump yourself up for sure.
And kind of what you just said, wins and losses and things. Another big one too is don't be so hard on yourself.
I'm bad for that.
I'm so bad for that.
Yeah.
If I haven't gone to the gym or did any kind of active activity like during the day, drank enough water, if I'm supposed to be working on something and I was procrastinating it, anything, I tend to feel really bad about myself.
You feel like you didn't accomplish the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one thing I always tell myself is, okay, what I didn't do on this day is such a small piece of the rest of my life.
I
so
know.
even though I missed this day, I'm gonna be fine tomorrow.
Yeah, the
tomorrow's
big
a new day.
picture.
Tomorrow's big picture.
Fresh
This is
start.
one. And even if I'm having a bad day or if I'm going through something really stressful, maybe it's a breakup, maybe it's issues with friends, maybe you've just lost your job or there's something stressful going on with your job. You're dealing with a nasty coworker on a project. Just remember that, yes, this really sucks right now, but this moment in time is a very, very small moment in the rest of what I have to look forward to.
Yeah, I know.
And it kind of gives you that positive feeling, makes you feel better about yourself, about your situations, what you're going through. I do that all the time.
Right. And like you said, the no rain, no flowers. We always have those down times and there's going to be better days ahead. And it's again, I hate saying that sometimes because I feel like that's such a cheesy thing. It's like, meh. But it's so true. It's like you said, it's such a small, insignificant time. It will get better. That reminds me of another little love yourself moment we're talking about saying affirmations and stuff like that. Listening to your favorite music. That's a simple thing that you can do. I don't know if you're able to do it during your work day. That's what I always do. Put your little headphones in and just listen to something calming. I find that keeps me at bay. I don't know if that's considering love yourself, but it's taking time for yourself, something that makes you happy. It's tough. I also want to just make a note because I've mentioned that video a couple times. It's somebody posted it, and maybe we can post that too, Joey. The Instagram handle's @it's Lennie LENNNIE, and it's a cute little ghost video. I sent it to Joey as soon as I saw
really
it,
cute.
and it's an important reminder. So I just wanted to put that in there.
Okay, so what about physical? Let's get physical. Okay.
Physical.
Obviously, you should always love your body, love how you look.
You don't, though.
We're all beautiful human beings. But fitness is a very important part in my life. But I do it for a lot of different reasons. It's not just the physical part of it.
Yeah.
It is a mental health, right? When you do a workout, endorphins and everything's firing along.
Feeling good.
You feel accomplished. You feel happy. And of course, it doesn't hurt that when you look in the mirror and you say, "Oh, I gained myself a little bit of a bicep.
Look at that ass.
Look at that plump peach,"
Yeah.
I think that stuff too can help you feel good about yourself. I think not to put too much emphasis on how you look, but if you like how you look, you're likely to feel a little bit better about yourself. It's just kind of how we're built.
And I worked out yesterday and I didn't want to. It was a 0% chance that I wanted to be there. And I knew it was one of those days that after I did it, I wasn't going to be happy I did. We have those days where it's like, I don't want to go do this. And I know after I'm done, I'm not even going to be happy that I did it. It was one of those days. But I did have a little moment on during my workout where I was just like, fuck, I am the best.
Yes.
And then you have a little hop in your step and you're feeling hot and you're like, nobody can touch me. You're going to come try to talk to me? No, we're not doing that. You get that confidence boost. Doesn't last forever.
No.
But it does make you feel
It does.
You're loving yourself.
And
you are
you're-
investing in yourself.
Yes, it also feels good to know you're taking care of yourself.
Yes.
The work you're putting on your body is work of you're being healthy. You're training, you're strengthening your
body. Because
what
you
body,
said,
right?
you are your ride or die.
Yes.
You're with you. Like, that's it. It's you.
You have to take care of yourself, whether it's physically or mentally.
Yeah. Which reminds me, another thing I started recently. Again, nobody make fun, okay? This is an actual thing. But listening to songs about like love songs and applying them to yourself. So if you hear a song and you're like, I don't know, an example. If you pretend that you're singing that to yourself, that's a really cool feeling as well.
That's a really good idea, is just music and listening to certain songs that are going to amp you up.
Yes,
like,
or that too, yeah.
Like, oh, I thought that's where you were going.
Well, I was thinking like, I'm trying to think like, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. If I apply that, I'm saying it to myself.
But yourself.
It's like, it always has to be about a man or a partner. And it's like, no, it can be about you.
Yeah.
Maybe that song is about you. And if you just have that mindset when you're listening that the song's about you, it does kind of pump you up. But yes, you're right. Pump you up songs.
I mean, I'm thinking of like
fancy vibes.
I mean, well, no, but like Katy Perry, right?
Yeah.
She's known for those self-help. No, what's the word? Self anthems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Roar and Firework, Resilient, right? Resiliency is a big thing that she writes to.
So those types of songs.
So if you're feeling down about yourself, you need a little bebop to your step. Throw on some Katy Perry.
Treat Myself, Meghan Trainor.
Meghan Trainor's Treat Myself.
That's a good one. That's one of my faves.
All those types of songs that can just kind of,
and find a buddy.
Help
you know. Let me Joey give me a look. Let me expand on that. But yesterday I didn't want to go to the trail. I was hating myself, so I just messaged Joe and I'm like, Joey, I need the motivation. Give it to me.
Inspirational
I
words.
need you to make me love myself. And so Joey was, I was going to say inspiration. A little harsh, but got me up and going.
Well, I just said, Brett, you've been eating a lot of those Halloween candies lately.
So I got up and went.
But it was a joke. It was all in good fun.
But, having those people to remind you. And that's the other thing. That's actually a good segue to another point is surrounding yourself by people who are like-minded.
I have this here. Yeah.
It's hard to do.
We talked a few weeks ago on the podcast about toxic friendships.
Yes.
I think when you surround yourself with toxic people that are not treating you well,
negative folks,
you're always walking along eggshells. You kind of internalize that. Like, what's wrong with me? Why they're angry at me all the time? I must be doing something wrong. You view yourself negatively. You need to cut those bitches out.
Bye-bye.
And you got to surround yourself with the positive people. So, Brittany, I'm going to leave. Because you're toxic.
That's what you would say to your toxic friends.
That's what you would say to your toxic friends, yes. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that are positive, that love you for who you are, right? Accept you for who you are, right?
Yeah.
Coming out has really shown me who my true friends are.
Yeah.
And who my true friends are not. Right? And a lot of people, I just said, thank you, next. Move on.
Yeah.
Right? It's important.
Yeah, I think that is important. And I actually had a really good point that reminded me of, I had a conversation with somebody a couple weeks ago, and he reminded me at the time that there's going to be people in your life. Like, we always think that we have 100 really great friends, or I'm exaggerating. Let's say 10 really great friends. But out of those 10 really great friends, you probably only have 2 really great friends, and the other 8 are acquaintances. And it's important to recognize who are the acquaintances and who are the actual friends. And again, using things like who's going to be there when you need to move, those shitty times where you need to move something, who are going to be there when you just won't shut up about that one guy, but they're your friends and they're going to stick it out. Who's going to be there when you're sick? Who's going to be there when you have a traumatic event in your life that happens? Those 10 people aren't necessarily going to be there. You have your acquaintances and you have your friends. And it's important to recognize that if you have some people in your life that aren't acquaintances, that's okay. It just means that maybe you don't give them as much time as they seemingly don't give you.
Because I think cutting out people that are toxic is more about focusing on you. And,
you're putting yourself
and
first.
Saying, you know what, I deserve better. So, see ya.
Later.
Right? And then only allow in those that, serve your mental health. And okay, so... I think one thing. Oh, okay. This is what Brittany's really good at is learning a new hobby. I do remember very specifically.
I'm always doing something.
You know what? Brittany was going through a little bit of a rut. You know, some things were going on, and she was a little down.
Where are you going with this, Joe?
And she decided that she was going to take. Was it tap dancing?
Yeah, dance lessons.
And she was looking at this program. I remember, like, at the end of it was going to be a recital. And I was so excited to like, oh yes, like we'll all go and cheer her on as she dances her way.
And then COVID happened. That's
then
right.
COVID happened.
And then COVID happened.
But it's smart that, you know what, when you are feeling a little sluggish, right, you're down about yourself, take up a new hobby.
Listen, I am the queen of new schemes.
She pilots a lot of things.
I'm always doing something.
Yes, but I think, you know, when you learn a new hobby, I think it builds confidence in yourself. Like, one thing I really, it's always on my like to do or like goal list is to like learn how to play piano.
Yeah.
Like I really want to learn how to play piano.
My sister knows how to play.
And before COVID, I was looking into taking lessons.
Yeah.
But I think just like learning something, because if you can catch on to something, it makes you feel like, wow, like I'm smart enough to actually get this and be able to do it. So you get confidence in your mental capacity.
Yes.
And it's like, you know, I envision myself being like at this like ritzy gala event, and someone's like, oh, I wish we had someone who could play this grand piano, and I would just slink on over and like, I think I can play. Thank you, next.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I feel like you would be like, oh yeah,
Thank
me too. And you'd like
you,
lay
next.
across the grand piano and be like,
would.
is there someone going to play?
Is someone going to play so I can harmonize?
You would.
I would.
Yeah, hobby's a good one. You and I, Joey and I, tried knitting.
We did with some coworkers.
And that was a great experience.
Yeah, then COVID happened, but we learned. We learned,
we
you
knew some
know,
new
how to
terms.
do it. Look, this podcast we're doing.
I think this was a grand scheme.
At the end of the summer,
Yeah.
we were feeling a little lackluster in certain
Yes.
areas of our lives, and you know, COVID was getting us down, and we just felt like, man, we want to do something, and we just said, let's try to do a podcast and see how it goes.
The pod, especially, great example, is not necessarily for me yet an outlet of like loving myself, but I think I took energy into other people, and I'm putting that energy into myself,
into yourself,
which therefore is expressing itself.
And we thought
style.
too, like, the topics we talk about that have affected us, it's like cathartic in a way to talk about it and get it off our chest.
And people relate, right?
We see people relating to it.
All the same stuff.
It makes
we all
you
go
feel
through the
good.
same thing. So
It
get a
makes you feel
hobby.
good. So yeah, get a hobby. Can be anything.
Yeah. What else you got? There's another good point.
I think standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
I think being assertive, making sure that your voice and your opinion matters. I'm usually someone that does stand up for myself. I don't usually let people, you know, steamroll me. Well, unless it's in the bedroom. But I think it's important to, like, you know, if something's not right, if something's not clicking, not, you know, whatever, you have to, you know, stand up for yourself.
Put yourself first.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think
that's a good one. That's a hard one.
It is a hard one, but once you do it and kind of make that part of who you are, then it's constantly reminding yourself that you matter. And then you love yourself.
And if they don't like it, then they're one of those acquaintances, right? They're not a real friend. I'm telling you.
So yeah, so those are some, like, you know, more serious, meaningful things. But what about the superficial stuff?
I was gonna say, give me the superficial stuff. I know it's coming.
Basic bitch, right?
Yeah, taking thirst traps.
So
taking some thirsty photos.
Don't we love it when, you know, our hair is styled perfectly? Maybe you've just dyed it. Maybe you went for like a nice summery blonde, or like a dark fall chestnut brown.
Ooh.
You know, or you know, and
your hair is looking good and your ass is looking snatched.
Your ass is looking real snatched. You have a nice outfit on, right?
Yeah.
Fall. Maybe you got like a nice new plaid outfit.
Take a photo and post
some
it.
Nice dark jeans, like a little thirst trap moment.
Yeah.
Tanning.
That stuff all makes you feel good.
I think
for
tanning is a great one. When
Yeah.
I have a nice tan on, I do feel and look better, I think.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, bodybuilders, that's why they fucking spray tan themselves into Cheetos, because it makes their muscles more defined. So
really though, it's all part of it.
It's all part of it.
Yeah, pageants.
Yeah, I think it's great.
You and I just join a pageant.
Well, I could probably win one.
Yeah, all of that stuff. All of that stuff makes a huge difference. And I have people in my life who aren't superficial, because I don't think because you like that stuff, you're considered superficial, but are completely opposite of me, let's say. And they'll say things like, oh, that doesn't make me feel good. And that's fine. It's not going to do that for everybody. But I will tell you, I promise you, if you have a nice hot shower, get all clean, do your hair nice, maybe put on a little bit of makeup, but we don't need makeup. You're going to feel better.
And here's
You're
the
going to
thing
feel
too,
better.
like I really want people to stop, when they see a girl or a guy or anybody out in the streets, and you see this a lot where it's like they're dolled up, right? They got their makeup on, their hairstyle, they're dressed up, they're tan, they're whatever. And there's this negative view of them of being like, oh, they're shallow, they're superficial,
they're shallow. What are they
into
doing all dressed up?
or
this is just a cozy event. Why are they wearing that?
Or they're dressed up to impress someone else. No, like a lot of the times people do that for themselves.
Yeah.
I do certain things like that for myself.
Yeah.
And we just said, being worried about likes on pictures and comments and stuff like that. But sometimes when you post those pictures, it is just for you.
Yes.
And sometimes getting a like, even if it's 5 likes, can make you feel good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 10,000 likes on a photo.
It's not quantified. Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter. You put it out there because you are feeling good about yourself.
And because we want this pod to be like a safe space for being honest and real and authentic, I will say, like, hearing you say, like, let's not call people out on being all dressed up. I think I did that a few episodes ago. I had talked about girls getting all dolled up for the pumpkin patch. And like,
oh, yeah, because you look dumb.
You look dumb. Like, nobody wears shit like that. But like, you look dumb that's my opinion. Would I do it? Probably. Like, if I just got it, I don't know what those girls did. I don't know what those people. They could have got a terrible breakup and trying to
make themselves
like, I don't know. So who am I to sit there and be like, meh? But we're all human at the same time. And sometimes we do those things because A, we're jealous, or B, we're not happy within ourselves. So just remember, why are you doing those things? And like, look within yourself a little bit.
And try to practice the things that we've just discussed to help yourself. Love yourself.
Love yourself.
Because once you love yourself,
you can love others.
What does RuPaul say? How in the heck can you...
Oh.
I don't know it. If you can't love yourself, how the heck are you gonna love anybody else? Okay.
I mean, really though,
that's
it.
I think they're gonna take my gay card. They're gonna just take that away from me.
You know what I mean? Though, like you can't.
That's gonna bug me now.
Look it up, Joe. Look it up.
Okay, you
I'll
take
just
it away,
ramble
Britt.
on. But that's the thing, right? Is like, how can you love anybody else? How can you expect anyone to love you if you don't love yourself, right? Like, why we accept the love that we think we deserve, and at the end of the day, like we said numerous times, you're your own ride or die. So there's no point in like dwelling on what you can't change. What you can change is what you're doing. And so just keep that in mind next time you're feeling down, that it starts within yourself. What do you got, Joe?
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
And remember, if you don't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else?
There you go. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That might be the quote for tomorrow.
What did I have? My quote was, this Halloween, trick 'em. Be your own damn treat. Right? Be your own treat.
Yeah, ties in with very seasonal, very festive, Britt.
Like, I'm sick and tired of feeling sorry for myself.
Or I'm going to say one, and I want to see if Brittany can guess who this is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she says her name in it, though. Okay. My name... Oh, shit. You're not blank.
Yeah.
You're a warrior. And your warrior name is...
Mindy Project.
Beyonce
Minnie
Pad
Kaling.
Thai.
That was actually going to be one of my like little tips. Is if you're really feeling bad about yourself, watch the Mindy Project. We brought it up before. That is the most relatable show.
Yeah.
She's
just bumbling through life.
Everything.
But you know what I'll say about Mindy as a character?
Yeah.
She fucking loves herself.
She does. She's super
always
confident.
Positive and good in herself. You know what? She don't care if she got a little bit of weight on her or if she's whatever.
More to love.
She's more to love.
Yeah, it's a really great show. If you're ever feeling kind of sad, grab yourself a candy apple. I say that, but I just said that they weren't good. Don't grab a candy apple. Go for something better.
Apple. Grab like a slice of apple pie.
Cadbury chocolate, I really like.
Okay, well,
I know it's very specific. That's a very specific.
Well, Cadbury isn't that like the that's the good
tasty.
shit, right?
But yeah, just do what makes you happy and what makes you feel good, and you have to remember. Got to remember that.
Yeah, I think that covers it.
I think that covers it. This one, it was so funny. Joey and I were recording. We were kind of looking at each other like, oh, is this boring? Like, we weren't sure. But at the end of the day, this is something that every single person on this planet deals with.
Yeah. How
to love you. And it's so basic, right?
And listen too. We're talking about being in our 30s.
Yeah.
Some of you in your 30s, probably have kids.
Yes.
And it is a worry right now with social media and cyberbullying.
Yeah.
And worrying that your kids are going to have low self-esteem. Like,
Yeah.
so taking some of these pointers and trying to invest those into your children.
Oh, yeah.
Right? If you do have a child, like, say, you know what we're going to do for a little fun activity tonight? We're going to take some Post-its. We're going to write what are some positive things we like about ourselves and get your child to post them around the house.
Yeah.
So wherever your child looks, he, she, or they see these positive affirmations about themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
And their parents doing it as well.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Do it with your kids,
Yeah.
right? As
Yes.
a family activity.
that's a
Do
great
it
idea.
together. So all these little things that we've talked about, you can instill that into your children as well. So it all kind of relates to everybody.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you are great. And you are you. And what's the one? No one else can be you. No one's youer than you.
Listen,
Like,
if you're listening to this podcast, it means you're a flirty. And if you're a flirty,
you are flirty.
you're in. You're golden.
You're in. That's is it.
There's no higher arc to reach.
Here comes the cockiness.
Right?
Right.
Honestly,
yeah. You have people around you that really care about you. I don't want to get emotional.
Let's
I'm going to
just
get
build
emotional.
a positive space where we can all love each other and also love ourselves.
And let's not put our worth into what people think of us. Let's not put our worth into what, who's ghosting us this week, which we've talked about before, or who's made us feel poorly about ourselves.
The toxic friend.
Don't be that person for yourself. Don't be that toxic friend to yourself.
Exactly.
It's so enlightening, really. And that's it. Right. Stay true, stay you. Stay true, stay flirty.
Stay flirty. All right, guys. So thanks for listening. If you've liked what you heard, and if you're, subscribe to the podcast, you can find us on Spotify, Apple,
on
all platforms. Platties. Give us a 5-star rating. Give us a review. You can follow us on Instagram, 30 Kind of Flirty Podcast.
Hit us up.
If you're listening, share us your story. You can like our posts. You can
slide
tag us.
The DMs.
Slide into those DMs.
Yeah.
What else do we say? Twitter is there.
I've been tweeting.
Email us 30 Kind of Flirty Podcast at gmail.com.
Thank you for the support.
And thank you so much. And
thank you so much. Have a great Halloween.
Yes, have a very safe
Halloween. Halloween.
If you're dressing slutty, send us some pics. If you see any hot men,
here we go.
Send those pics. Give them my number. It's 902.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.